At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. It is Monday. We're going to talk a little bit about everything today, and I'm going to try and answer your questions if you guys have anything. If you have anything for me, please feel free to ask away. If you are watching this after the fact, if you're watching after the live show, you're watching maybe later this evening on the 4th here. It is 4/4/22, by the way. Feel free to hit me up in Discord or join if you haven't already. All right, 3, 2, 1, yo! What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? SEC fans everywhere, welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. Oh, we got to make sure that beautiful looking chrome Razorback helmet from Arizona Tim, by the way, is still in view. That's gorgeous. It's so pretty. Do me a favor, make sure you like the stream, share. That is oh so important. Share the love. If you haven't done that, please do so. And subscribe. We've had a influx of subscribers. By the way, we just passed 800,000 total views last week. We did it. I think we actually did it last Monday. Maybe it was one of the post-game shows is when we surpassed the 800,000 views. I just didn't see it. So couldn't have done that without you guys. Couldn't have done that, obviously, without those of you who are here live or those of you who watch these after the fact. And the PT and lurkers, shout out to you guys as well. I know you guys, a lot of you you're just here to listen. That's like 90% of the audience are just listeners, and you're not necessarily active in the comment section. Just know that I love you. I love you, baby. And of course, to the people who are active in the comment section as well. To those of you who have joined Patreon, I saw some movement today. Not all of it great, some of it good, but on Patreon. But I really do appreciate you guys that are Patreon supporters as well. If you are curious, again, I see this time and time again, people asking, well, how the hell do I join? How the hell do I join your Discord, and how do I become Patreon member? The links are provided down below. All right. Yeah. JD Notae declares He's gonna go pro. He's gonna go pro, and he hired an agent. And by the way, when you hire an agent, you gone. That's it. You cannot come back. Now, I saw we're on Twitter. People were talking about how, well, wait a minute, but there's a new rule that came out like 2 years ago that stated that he is eligible to return. And this individual has a lot of followers. I don't, as far as I know, if you hire an agent, I could be wrong. You guys know, like I am open to any links that you guys have that says otherwise. As far as I know, you hire an agent, you're gone. So you can have sponsors and NIL deals and all this, but you can't hire an agent, and then you're ineligible. I don't know. Someone help me. Someone make that make sense for me. I don't understand that. So that happened. Was it shocking? I'm not going to say it wasn't shocking. It's a little bit surprising, right? So we're going to get into that, but first, I want to give a shout out, of course, to the show sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They offer same-day services, emergency service 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews, better than best results. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. 500-244-3667. Give them a call. They continue. I share their 5-star reviews too on their page. I don't think I have them all. I've got a couple of examples there for you if you guys are curious. So give them a shout out. Look, man, they're sponsoring an independent YouTube channel that's doing its best, whose times are kind of all over the place, even though we've kind of stuck to a pretty good schedule here. I would argue for a little bit, we've stuck to a pretty damn good schedule dating back to, August. And I knew coming into this, like, this is that period of time where you're about to hit a wall as far as content that you guys want to consume, that you guys want to hear about. You know, I get asked from time to time why I don't talk about women's sports. Listen, I'm stretched thin with 3 sports, right? And on top of that, I built my audience around what? Razorback football, men's basketball, and a like a sprinkle of basketball or baseball. So, yeah, great job, Ty. Thanks. Hey, I appreciate that, Rob. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, 800,000 views is special. That's not easy to do. What up, Ty? What's up, Dragon Slayer? How you doing, man? If Arkansas doesn't sign a number 2 class If Arkansas doesn't sign a number 2 class, then Notae probably comes back. Well, if you don't sign, there's a couple guys that you signed that's telling you why he left. Couple of guys. I think the writing was on the wall. What's up, Mike? Yo. Oh shit, son! I'm in a live show. Let's go. What's going on, Matt? Michael also says, Mr. Kopesky here says, Jordan Walsh is gonna a lot of coaching. His last game for the title wasn't good at all. Very poor performance, says Michael. All right. Why hasn't Anthony Black signed? Give it time. Jordan Walsh has the most potential, but needs the absolute most work. He wouldn't be starting out of the gate, or he shouldn't be starting out of the gate. Look, anytime you talk, especially when it comes to basketball, there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, right? Especially when it comes to basketball. These guys, sometimes it's the scheme in which they play in, and of course you could say the same about football as well. But especially in basketball, it's the scheming, it's the coaching, it's the players around them. Look, I mean, I don't know. I caught a little bit of Walsh, some highlights over the weekend. I think he's going to be in good shape. I'm not prepared to say whether or not he's going to be a starter out the gate, but it wouldn't shock me if either way. I think he ends up probably starting, but he does strike me as a guy that's going to need a little bit of work, so I don't disagree. Going to miss JD, but Nick Smith is going to be special. Excited for next season. Well, you're talking about a guy who's a potential lottery pick. Potential. But is unproven at this level versus a guy in JD Notae who is proven. sixth man of the year, one of the top scorers in the SEC, and you're rolling the dice in a way here, but you feel like one of those might be loaded in your favor. With Nick Smith, like you just feel like watching this guy as much as I have the last couple of weeks, or what we've had access to, and then his highlights and everything. Damn, he looks good. Like that's all you could say is like, holy crap, this dude and Anthony Black, possibly, hopefully with Jalen, with J-Dub returning. Dude, I don't know. I can't remember the last time being this excited about an incoming freshman class. Maybe last year. I mean, don't get me wrong. You had some pretty special players last year, right? Moses and Devo and the likes and those guys, This year it was all about transfers. Last year you did have transfers. This year you had transfers. Chris Likes, who was kind of a mixed bag, right? You had Jackson Robinson, Adese Toney, Kamani Johnson. Of course, Connor was a transfer a couple of years ago. This year you're going to have Trevon Brazile, right? Hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to get there yet. Let's talk really quick about LSU basketball. Remember, I'm trying to I know I do this every time. I think from now on, just expect these shows to go on as long as as I can keep them going. Now, I am possibly doing Mark Rogers later, so I don't know what time we're going to get together, but that's just what I'm going to call these shows from now on. Like, just they're going to go on as long as they go on, right? If they end at 45 minutes, they end at 45 minutes. If they go for an hour and a half, they go for an hour and a half. I'm done there is no ceiling. I keep up with a lot of shows. They don't have a time frame. They just go as long as they can, or they go as short as they can. That's what I'm going to do from here on out. That's what this is. So we're going to take this bullet point by bullet point. LSU basketball loses every remaining player they have to the transfer portal. This is coming from Yahoo Sports. They're also tricky on their website. Sometimes their videos will just play. But this comes from Jack Bear. He wrote this on April 1st. LSU men's basketball has some rebuilding to do after the firing of head coach Will Wade following an NCAA notice of allegations. The task now looks like a complete and total teardown. Mwani Wilkinson entered the portal on Friday per Rivals. That was coming from Rivals, making him the program's 13th scholarship player to make a move out of the program following Wade's firing. And this is the thing, too, that the older generation of college fans are finding themselves less and less fans of the sport. There's no more school loyalty. Now, these set of circumstances are different. Their program's about to get nuked, possibly. They're about to get hit pretty hard by the NCAA. And it could be pretty rough on LSU. And you understand that. They want to go somewhere. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's, we have some loyalty to LSU, but we have even more loyalty to the idea of winning and being on a program or being with a team that can at least get some postseason play and not under these kind of possible sanctions from the NCAA that look like they're coming. So you understand that. But every single scholarship, all 13 scholarship athletes on that basketball roster are gone. With serious NCAA sanctions looming, not a single scholarship player from last season remains on the team for now. Now, again, they can always back out of the portal, which could happen too. Just what does that kind of exodus look like? Well, here's every player to appear on the court for the Tigers last season, ordered by total minutes, and where they are now. Walk-on players are, okay, whatever. We won't pay attention to that. Brandon Murray, he entered the portal on the 24th. Darius Days declared for the draft. No shocker there. On March 30th, Eric Gaines entered the portal on the 31st. Mwani Wilkinson did this on the 1st. He entered the portal. Tari Eason That dude was he was a knife like that you pulled out of your back pocket. He'd come off the bench and just rip you up. But he declared for the draft. Xavier Pinson entered the draft on the 23rd. Efton Reed on the 31st. He's in the portal. Alex Fudge on April 1st. Justice Williams entered the portal on the 30th. Sharif O'Neal on the 28th. The list just goes on. Bradley Ezuero, is that how you say it? It's Easy Wire-O. Iswiro. He entered the portal on the 30th. Jarrell Colbert entered the portal on March 29th. Dude, they're wiped. Now, maybe they have some guys left that are walk-ons. Maybe they have a couple of walk-ons that are left. So basically between the dates of March 23rd and April 1st, April 1st, LSU lost 1.3 scholarships or scholarship players per day. That is some serious talent LSU is losing as well, as Pinson and Ezuero are the only departing players who were not rated as 4 or 5-star recruits by rivals. Murray, Reed, Williams, Colbert, Ezuero were all freshmen. Dude. Oh. Do you hate to see it, or are you like, don't get sloppy. Will Wade, don't get sloppy, LSU. And this doesn't happen. Best of luck to Notae. I'll always remember his time here at Arkansas. Why are the Hogs football team not trying to get Bryce Young from Alabama? I hope the absolute worst for LSU and their punishment. Man, you knew something was up. Like I having this conversation with my dad, Arky56, who is not here in live chat right now, but I was having this conversation with him. Like, yeah, okay, LSU football, baseball, great, right? Baseball recently not as great as it once was, but in the 2000s, the LSU Tigers were damn good baseball program without a doubt. Football, you understand their ability to do what they do, right? Their proximity to Texas and within their own state. They don't have to leave the state of Louisiana, and if they do, they can dip into Texas anytime they want, right? But their basketball program is not the kind of program to attract the kind of talent, right? When you talk about historically, they've had some great names over the years. Without a doubt, they've had some great names. You know, no. Of course, their biggest and baddest being Shaquille O'Neal, but they're not a program that's achieved a whole lot, right? When you talk about historically, like it's understandable. You see people criticize Arkansas like, oh, they're cheating. They're cheating. Look, I have no idea. Mike Anderson had some pretty strong recruiting classes, but unfortunately, again, couldn't get past the second round of the tournament. In Arkansas, when you kind of dig, you understand Musselman's past, his connection to the NBA, his experience at Nevada. And by the way, like college basketball, thanks to the portal and thanks to the NIL, is starting to look more and more, I think from a coach's standpoint, a little bit more like the NBA game. When you talk about roster turnover, when you talk about the transfer portal, graduate transfers, which just I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Like it's not going to be. Anybody can transfer now and be eligible. That used to be the reward of a senior of the graduate transfer rule was that you didn't have to sit out a year. Well, who cares about that now? You're going to be eligible no matter what year you are in college. It's becoming more and more like the NBA. It's suited to his ability, and then you think about that. Like being able to pitch that on the recruiting trail to a player, like, look, if we lose a guy, if we lose Jalen Williams, I'm telling you, we're going to be fine. I mean, that's what I would say if I were Musselman. Like, I'm going to be able to go into the portal, and I'm going to be able to replace him like that. That used to be a problem for some of these schools recruiting. You hear it when you hear former players talk about their college recruitment, and especially in basketball, they'll say something similar. Like, yeah, I was going to go there, but they lost this so-and-so who was a really strong point guard for them, and I felt really like I'm walking into a program that doesn't have the one spot secured in an offense that or on a team on the floor that relies so heavily, especially on the offensive end, to have strong point guard play. And I'm coming into that. Like, I'm not going to do that. You can now solve that in the portal. Not saying you're going to go grab an elite point guard, because we all know, like, an elite point guard, they're going to have their pick of the crop wherever they want to go, right? If you're an elite, athletic, somewhat lengthy point guard, which used to be looked down upon, by the way. Taller point guards used to be looked down on because of their height and how far the ball would travel from their hand to the floor and back up to their hand. Larry Johnson, or Magic Johnson, I should say, changed the perception of what a point guard could be. But I can remember listening to podcasts and shows and just finding random videos on YouTube of guys talking about, well, my experience was I'm not going to go to a school that doesn't have this position filled. So the portal has completely changed the landscape, and it's also been a disadvantage for high school recruits as well. But that's the hit on Muss, is that, well, how did you recruit this well at Arkansas? I mean, do you know who his staff is? Do you get his connection to the NBA? Oh, and by the way, he has some experience in Nevada. But screw that. Who cares about that? Look at his resume. That's enough to sell to these kids. Like, look, man. And my system, by the way, is also indicative of what they like to do in the NBA these days. What my roster looks like. Will Wade, that was not the case at LSU. Like, it just didn't make sense that they're able to recruit at this level. It was very reminiscent to me. I don't know if the Ole Miss comparison is right here, but it resembled the Hugh Freeze era at Ole Miss. All of a sudden, they're recruiting out of their minds, and we know their football history is not the greatest. Okay, yeah, they had a quarterback 50 years ago that was a badass and who would have sons who would go on and be great. But overall, Ole Miss's history, not that great, especially recently. I mean, at the point in time when Hugh Freeze was hired. And you saw what happened. The NCAA eventually, like, we got to do something now, and they did, and we thought that would set Ole Miss back a little bit. It did, and then now they're back. They made the right hire, and that also shows you that, you know what, you make the right hire, you do the right things, and you shake the right trees. Who knows? You can recover quicker than you realize, which is a little bit surprising in a school like Ole Miss, if I'm being honest. But I think Lane Kiffin's proven a lot of people wrong. You could say what you want about Ole Miss, and I'll agree. Say what you want about Lane Kiffin. If he were Arkansas's coach, we'd be loving the way he does Twitter. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, you got to tip the cap when it's due, and I will. I'm not one of these like jaded Hog fans when it comes to like what other people are doing on Twitter or whatever, what coaches are doing. Like, I'm going to tip the cap. If you shit talk on the floor or on the field, man, I'm here for it. It's going to look even funnier when you get schooled, like when you lose at home to Arkansas and you're Florida, and Arkansas has no business. Well, I mean, they hadn't had any business up until Muss of beating you down there. Now it's like that's the expectation. You could talk all that shit you want, but it's going to be even better when you lose. But God, gotta beat Ole Miss this year. Oh my God, you gotta beat Ole Miss, right? You just got to. Ugh. But yeah, I think it's interesting that they're in the predicament that they're in. The predicament, because it's they're in trouble. There's no doubt about it. And the question is how long does it take LSU to bounce back from this? Now, basketball is different. Unless you're Mike Anderson, it shouldn't take you 4 years to completely rebuild in basketball. I guess it just kind of depends on how hard you get hit here. And we'll have to keep an eye on it. Like I said a while back, we'll keep an eye on what the NCAA does and kind of how they react and what they rule and what happens to LSU. But I'll say this: it took them long enough to fire Will Wade. I mean, this should have happened. We all know it should have happened a long time ago. And then they do it at the most bizarre time. They do it right as they enter March Madness. Was it because they knew they were just if they did somehow advance, they knew that all those wins would be just an asterisk? You know, probably that'd be my guess. They wanted to avoid the humiliation of it all. LSU has essentially received a self-imposed death penalty. Tiger Express, more or less, with those guys hitting the portal like that. You think Duke will suffer from coaching next year? God, they're you look at that roster that they're playing with next year. If that guy, if they don't go far into the tournament next year, that guy's not going to have a long run. You know, I don't know. Tato31 says my dad's a big LSU fan and recently got released from the hospital. Oh, I hate to hear that, but I want to show no mercy when we talk today. He's like, yo, Dad, you just got out of the hospital? Yeah? Well, LSU basketball sucks. Oh, I just snorted. That was too good. I don't care. That was too good. Woo, man. You could really rub salt on the wound and ask him, no, don't do that. Don't do anything with corn dogs. Don't do that. That's not polite. Savage. The coach walking into Duke like Les Miles walked into Baton Rouge after Saban. The history. Oh, my God. I mean, imagine that, though. Imagine, and, you know, I get it, the history of Duke already, but, like, Coach K. Oh, Dad, you're okay? Your team isn't. That is pretty savage, man. I'm not going to lie. Oh, man. I just imagine, like, I don't know how old you are, how old your dad is, but I imagine, like, an old guy coming out like a wheelchair, the nurses bringing him out, and then you're just standing there in like, head to toe in Razorback gear, and he's just looking at you like, don't you do it, you son of a bitch. And then you go, how about them Hogs, Dad? Should have fired wiretap Will Wade a long time ago, and you could have avoided all this, Dad. That'd be great. What's funny is Kansas did the same thing LSU did, and they're playing for a title tonight. Yeah, Kansas. That's a good point. That's a good point. They're caught up in some. They're caught up in some drama over there, huh? The NCAA. I think I do have Kansas winning it all, but I'm rooting for. I'm probably rooting. I don't know. My dad who's a diehard Hog fan, by the way. You guys know Arky 56, diehard Razorback fan. He's actually born in Dodge City, Kansas, in 1956. So he does this thing where if Kansas is still in the tournament and Arkansas is eliminated, he'll root for Kansas. He does this all the time. So I kind of want them to lose, though, not because of that. He hears the news at LSU, and the nurse just rolls him back into the ER. Oh, man. Savage. Anthony Black added to the USA Junior Nation team. He's going to join Nick Smith. Good for him. I guess they just added him today because this thing goes off on what? Let's see. Let me pull up. When does this happen? Anthony Black has been added to the 2022 Nike Hoops Summit team roster. Welcome, Anthony Black. And this post was made today, and they play on Friday the 8th. Boy, that can't be right. This is like a practice on Friday, right? The U.S. takes on the world select team this Friday, April 8th at the Moda Center in Portland. Amari Bailey, Anthony Black, Grady Dick. I don't know how to pronounce this kid's name. Kyle Filipowski. Okay. Keontae George, Derek Lively, Dylan Mitchell, Nick Smith Jr., Jerice Walker, Khalil Ware. We know that name. Dariq Whitehead and Cam Whitemore. And again, that's April 8th. So I don't know if that's going to be televised. I need to follow them. Let's follow them. I'll look at that, actually. Looks like it's doesn't look I'm not seeing a link for like a channel, but they do have their Ticketmaster link if you wanted to fly to Portland, Oregon and watch this thing go down. I don't know, it might be cool to watch a couple of Razorbacks if you have nothing else better to do on the 8th. It's going to be 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific Standard, right? Or Pacific time, I guess. So there's that. Be sure you guys slap a like on this bad boy. And again, subscribe if you haven't already. Sup, Ty? Good luck, JD, says Timothy Henderson. Something has to be done about Ware. He's doesn't want to be here. Doesn't want to be here. Any news on the center from Utah Valley? You're talking about our guy, Fardaz Amac. I haven't heard anything lately. Arkansas obviously still after him as far as I know. So, all right, Razorback baseball really quick before we get into the rest of this. If you guys didn't watch, I watched from like the third, fourth inning of Game 3 and on. I caught most of Game 2 and a little bit of Game 1. I got to say, Tigert, that dude, wow. Cole Ramage, I'm not so sure. Lot of hate on Cole Ramage. Dave Van Horn defended him, said the guys that he pitched against is exactly who he needed to go up against. He did get one strikeout, but he gave up 2 hits and two earned runs off a couple of those hits. Wasn't exactly a spectacular showing by Ramage. I know there's a lot of hate on the guy. I would argue, obviously Game 3, I mean, you had just 8 hits. And for Arkansas, you want that, obviously. I mean, anybody, you want that. You want to be north of that. But that's not a horrible performance at the plate. You can't put it all on Ramage. You didn't lose this game because of Ramage. He just didn't really help matters, right? You're looking for middle relief to come in and help you out. But Tiger continues to impress. This guy pitched 3+ innings. 7, I think it was 7 of his 8. Right? He faced, was it 8 batters? He struck out 7. Tigert is this dude just nasty. Just ridiculous. Braden Webb and Slavens, Braden and Brady, had a couple of RBIs. Zach Gregory had an RBI in this one. Of course, it's a heartbreaker. But you took Game 1 8-1, Game 2 12-5, and you dropped Game 3. You didn't get the sweep. But you have when was the last time Mississippi State beat Arkansas? I think Arkansas is off to a really good start. I think baseball-wise, there's some concern about timely hitting, but their first 2 games, they had 20 runs in their first 2 games. You had 23 runs on the weekend. That's generally enough. If you look at Arkansas's pitching and you look at their numbers, you would imagine okay, not looking at the ERA, not looking at how many runs were given up, but just looking at maybe strikeouts, especially in Game 3, or just their overall pitching. Their starting pitching was okay. 23 runs should have been enough to beat these guys. But it is the SEC, and that's just north of, or just south of 8 runs a game. But that should be enough. And I think Arkansas's pitching is in a situation where that generally is and has been enough. But not this weekend. Mississippi State, you're in SEC play. You're in SEC play now, and things are you're playing against the best of the best, right? When you look at what the SEC accomplishes every single year. Lenzilli and Turner and Caden Wallace are all your guys batting above 300 that have had a decent amount of at-bats. Lenzilli's batting at 344. Michael Turner, 337. Caden Wallace, 314. Zach Gregory just under 300 at 292. Braden Webb. How about Braden Webb? Leads in home runs with 6. Jalen Battles with 5. Michael Turner, Slavens, and Wallace all with 4. Caden Wallace leads the Razorbacks in stolen bases with 6. Braden Webb with 5. Gregory with 3. Dylan Leach with 2. That's pretty impressive, considering how much time he's been given this year. And Lenzilli also has 2 as well. Hagen Smith still leads the Razorback in wins with 5. Connor Nolan with 4. Wiggins with 4. Zeb has credit for 2 wins, and Mark Adamayak, is that how they pronounce his last name? I've only seen him pitch like once, and I'm going to be real with you. I had the volume on mute, and I was not listening to the radio. I think it's Mark Adamayak. Is he from the Northwest? Your leading ERA, of course, Connor at 305, Hagen Smith 362, and Jackson Wiggins 369. Arkansas's leading strikeout, our guy with the most strikeouts, probably not going to shock a lot of people, Connor Nolan with 53, Hagen Smith with 44, Jackson Wiggins with 42, Cole Ramage with 25, Brady Tigert with 22, creeping up behind Cole Ramage. And yeah, you've got several players. Varnado is above 350. He's 375, but he's only had 8 at bats, right? But Lanzilli's your guy, 344, and so what is that? 1, 2, 3. You're almost at 4 guys in your batting order that are closing in on 300 or better. Jalen Battles is also up there, 284. Peyton Stovall, what was it, 0 for 12 on the weekend? Oh, and he had an opportunity in Game 3. And you got to give credit to the first baseman that made the play on the ball. You got to give him credit, but Stovall, he's so streaky. Stovall is so streaky. He'll go on this nice run where he gets a hit in X amount of games in a row, or he'll go 2 for 4 at the plate. And now you'll see the kind of series that he had this weekend. Had he had a better Game 3, let's say he gets 1 out of the 4 at bats where he gets a hit, you probably win, or you're close. You're closer. Not that, you went 12 innings, right? Was it 12 innings? Is that what they ended up doing? How many innings did they actually end up playing? Yeah, it was 12 innings. They went through 12 innings. It's a lot of free baseball. What's up, Yud? How you doing, man? What was up with the bat, the Tennessee Vandy game? Yeah, something about the sticker. I saw that. I was gonna play that bit for you, but it would hit me with a copyright strike, so I didn't play it. But it was pretty odd. And then watching the whole thing was just bizarre. It was very bizarre, and I don't know. It's a strange game too. All right. The last topic, and I know this is what everyone wants to talk about. JD Notae hiring an agent, and he's aiming for the draft. Listen, 2 weeks ago, I was told that that's crazy. And I told you, I don't live in the land of absolutism. I don't. I don't live there. And this is why, because anything's possible. You may hear me say, oh, well, I think he comes back. Keyword, think. Or possibly, right? I choose my words carefully most of the time. And you don't know. And that's why with Jalen Williams, when I see people on Facebook, when they scoff at the idea that any of these guys try to dip their toe in the NBA waters, here's a good case right here. JD Notae, he's in, or he's going to try. That's all that matters. I'm not making the case he's going to get drafted. I have no idea. But it absolutely is on the table for him. It is damn sure on the table for Jalen Williams. So, again, I feel like J-Dub comes back. I feel like he comes back, but that feeling could be incorrect. So, with JD Notae testing out the NBA, here's kind of what we've seen unfold, and this goes all the way back to the 28th of last month. We'll talk about what you added. What you added in last month, Anthony Black, and on the 30th, you added Trevon Brazile out of the portal. Brazile, of course, the Missouri kid. What you lost, Chance Moore on the 29th, KK Robinson on the 1st of this month, and JD Notae just yesterday. He hires an agent and declares for the NBA draft. So, what is that? What are we looking at in terms of scholarship? We're going to have to go over this every time you add and you take away, but at least it's worth noting, right? It's worth looking at. You're going to have Jalen Williams at the moment, who's going to have, I believe it's 2 years remaining. Kamani Johnson, who's going to have a year left. Couple of, you got Kamani at 6'7", Jalen at 6'10". Connor Vanover, we don't know, but there's your 5-piece. There's your center. There's your 5. I mean, I get it. Jackson, did we say Jackson Robinson? And then Odise Toney, who has 1 year remaining. And then Trevon Brazile, who has 3 years remaining. Then you're adding, and then Devo. Devo, of course. Devo is going to be here, and he has, I believe, two years as well. You're adding Darian Ford, Nick Smith, Anthony Black, Joseph Pinion, Jordan Walsh. So Devo Davis, Nick Smith, Darian Ford, Anthony Black, Joseph Pinion, Jordan Walsh. Of course, you have Lawson Blake and Cade Arbogast as well, your walk-ons. Cade Arbogast is technically on scholarship. He was given a scholarship. I actually don't know when he was given that. I just know he's on there. When I remember it being semi-newsworthy, but I don't remember when. So you're at 13. That's your what you're looking at as far as your scholarship players. So that means you're right at where that's the legal NCAA limit. Like, that's it. That's the cap. I wonder with the portal, especially with the portal, if we don't see the NCAA boost that number up to like 14. I'm surprised that hasn't actually come up. But at the same time, like, that's still going to be a lot of guys that are not going to be given much of an opportunity. We know, especially at Arkansas, your typical rotation is a 8-man rotation at Arkansas. And by the way, he's done that everywhere. He did that at Nevada as well. It's about an 8-man rotation of guys getting, north of like 12 minutes a game or whatever. That's his rotation. And you look at these 13 that I just mentioned, I think just about every single one of them would start. No, you know what? I feel really confident that any one of these guys would be a starter anywhere else in the SEC. Maybe outside of like Kentucky Alabama's going to have some talent in Auburn, but I still feel like, they would compete. Definitely believe Nick Smith would be a starter just about anywhere. Anthony Black, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm so excited about those two. Oh, my gosh. If you're not excited about those two, or really what could just be next year. Oh, you know where every single one of these guys could start right now? Every single one of them? LSU. Take that, LSU Tigers. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys, if you haven't already. If you're new here, subscribe. Hey, forward this stream to a friend. Copy and paste that little arrow button there on the middle part of your page that you're looking at if you're on your phone. It's that little bizarre looking arrow pointing backwards that says share under it. Click that. That's basically copy and paste. Just copy that, paste it, send it off to a group chat with your boys. Say, hey, we got to show some love to this independent Razorback fella who talks about the Hogs and makes fun of LSU and all things Will Wade. Well, as a head coach and what he did to that program. My God. So Arkansas next year, stacked. I mean, you've got guys coming off the bench next year, assuming, you don't lose any of these. I mean, it's possible, but, what are the odds Connor hits the portal? What are the odds that Tony doesn't come back? What about Kamani Johnson? You've still got some ifs, ands, or buts here, right? And I really liked Kamani. I thought that dude, he played like he was 6'9", 270. But he's 6'7", 230, I think. He was so physical. Didn't mind coming in, getting a couple of quick fouls, wearing people down, getting a little physical. That's what, I think Muss kind of liked that, apart, with that being a part of his game. You have to appreciate someone like Kamani Johnson, right? Really quick, I'm going to go back to baseball really fast. If you guys haven't looked, I did update the the SEC standings. Arkansas is in first in the West with a 7-2 conference record. They're 2 games ahead of Auburn, who's sitting at 5-4. And then the rest are all 3 games behind. Ole Miss, LSU, Texas A&M, Bama, Mississippi State. Over in the East, I don't know what these guys average, like 12 runs a game or something. Tennessee is slaughtering people. They're on a 19-game win streak, which is easily the best in the SEC. The closest would be Georgia, who's riding a 4-game win streak. They're 6-3 in conference play, 22-6 overall. Tennessee again sitting at 27-1, but they've already got a 3-game lead over there in the East. Again, Georgia in second. Vanderbilt falls back. I don't feel like they stay there for long, but they're 4-5 in conference play, riding a 3-game losing streak to you-know-who. Mizzou won a couple over the weekend. They're 3-6 in conference play. They're 6 games out over there. Florida, who Arkansas is playing next on the road. Florida's struggling a little bit. They're coming off a 3-game losing streak. They're 18-10, but they're 3-6 in conference play. Then behind them is Kentucky. And how about South Carolina continuing to suck? My goodness, what is going on at South Carolina? I mean, I know it's been a minute, but for SC, but we know when they're on, they're Omaha. Like, South Carolina is a really good, they pride themselves in baseball. Who's their big, the singer, the country, the guy, what's his name? Darius Rucker. He went on SEC Network and said that we're a baseball school and we're proud of it. Is that who I'm thinking of? Used to sing for Hootie and the Blowfish, or he is Hootie, right? I don't know. I'm not real big into that kind of. Not a big Dave Matthews guy. Not a Hootie and the Blowfish guy. And you guys know I'm not real into country, but I do like him. Listening to him like talk and have, he's a big sports guy, big SC guy. But boy, they're down. They are down. And Florida too is a little bit surprising. I'm not going to lie. I thought Florida would be a lot better, and here they are riding a 3-game losing streak, 3-6 in conference play. Vanderbilt, are they kind of surprising a little bit? They're 20-7, right? That's not bad, but it's not where you would expect them to be. Arkansas, of course, 21-5, and Auburn's 19-9, and so on and so forth. How do you want to be with you? Walter White says the fog is coming. Okay. Think we will be good for sure, but need a big man to make it deeper. Jay Will isn't enough by himself. I don't know, man. Jay Will got you all the way to the Elite Eight. I love South Carolina. It's a pretty state. Only thing is the Hurricanes, says Timothy. I've always wanted to go. I've been to North Carolina twice. I've been to Charlotte. Went to watch some NASCAR. Got to watch Mark Martin win one. That was really cool. My last time in Charlotte, we caught Mark Martin in his number 6 Valvoline win Charlotte. That was pretty cool. It was pretty there. It was pretty. Our issue was when Jalen wasn't on the floor. We didn't have the size to really stop other teams. Yeah. Jalen Williams is the there's not a player in the portal that can do all the things that Jalen was able to do. I mean, you'd have to fill out a complete, like if you're looking at a whole, I don't know, notepad with bullet points of the positives that Jalen Williams brings to the floor for Arkansas, there's not a player in this portal that can replicate what he was able to do at Arkansas in 2021, 2022. There's just not. You know, whether you want to talk about charges taken, his leadership, his basketball IQ, he got better at the free throw line. He developed a mid-range jump shot, could knock down the threes. Not an elite three-point shooter, right? But he could do it. Like, you look at his entire resume, and then you combine that with the fact that he's super coachable. He's developed quite a bit under Musselman. You know, he's a good 5-piece. It's like having a point guard play down low in the paint. Like, that is huge. You know, are there some negatives to his game? Is he the strongest post guy? You know, sure. I mean, we could kind of split hairs here and there, but I think overall, like, there's just not a player that does all of those things. Now, are there better, maybe, I don't know, are there better rebounders, better shot takers, higher percentage guys that can stretch the floor a little more than he can, you know, that are a little bit, you know, bigger and longer and athletic, who maybe can defend the rim just a tad bit better? Sure. Or maybe a lot better. I mean, I don't know that those guys are in the portal necessarily, but J-Dub is a huge piece of this. And if you lose him and you're unable to grab you another legitimate big who can get you at least 25, 30 minutes of quality play, whether it's from a defensive standpoint or whatever, you might, I don't know, man, all this hype might go down the drain a little bit. How far do you go without someone like Jalen Williams on this roster? You think about how important he was. The guys around him were experienced, right? Some of them not in tournament play, but they were experienced, and they were also pretty talented. Not first-round talent, but they're pretty talented. And yet Jalen Williams excelled everybody around him. He makes everyone around him better. And that is so nice to have in someone who's 6'10". You didn't have a true point guard. But I'll be damned if you didn't have a forward guard, a center guard, whatever you want to call it. Like, he was or a point forward, I guess is the actual. Is he developing that position? Like, is that his role? I could see him being a great coach. I really could. I could see J-Dub being a great coach. His basketball IQ, he just seems like a great teammate in everything that he offers as a player. And the fact that he's been there too, you know, I could really see him being a coach. He's pretty vocal on the floor. Got to get him back. To me, it is a must to get him back. I'm not saying it's over if you lose him. I'm not saying that at all. Your talent at guard is just ridiculous, you know. And now you might actually have a true point guard, right? But a point guard who can also play several other spots on the floor. It's pretty incredible. Just imagine if Vanover added some muscle. He's great, but he gets in foul trouble against good big men like Auburn and Florida. We need one more. He's definitely good. No, I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree there, but he didn't listen. Postseason play, did he have a single game where he had 2 fouls in the opening half? Maybe one game. Maybe did Vermont? Did he get a couple of quick fouls? But it's like I think overall though he didn't get into a lot of foul trouble. Maybe he did at the end. The final few minutes he picked up foul 3 or foul 4. But I don't think the majority of this tournament he was in any real foul trouble. There might have been a game, and I'm not trying to make a point there. I truly don't remember. I don't recall him getting into any serious foul trouble. Yeah, there were moments especially towards the end of the season where he was picking up 2 quick fouls or getting a foul in the first 3 minutes and then getting a second foul in the final 5, and then he had to rest. There were a couple times where he fouled in the middle of the first half, and then he had to sit, the remaining 6, however many minutes. But that didn't happen as often as it didn't happen, right? It wasn't like every game we're running into him getting into double fouls early in the first half or in the final few minutes picking up foul 5. In fact, I don't even know how often he fouled out this year. Someone go dig that up. How many times did he foul out this year? You can count on one hand, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Connor actually lost weight in the offseason. I'm starting to wonder if there's something else going on. He lost weight and definitely didn't gain it back, and then he saw his minutes completely just diminish. Play slower so that he can stay out of foul trouble and attack when. Who are you talking about? I want to keep him, but he will need help. We've got most positions covered, so I'd be pissed if we don't get another big. Yeah, I think the goal is they're going to get another big. I mean, I really don't think they have a choice here. And I think there is a lot of rhetoric that they could go after another guard, could go after a combo guard. Listen, you still got Connor Vanover, who I'm not sure if he's going to come back or not. Been a lot of talk that he may transfer. Someone brought up a little while back that he was going to Oklahoma. You still have some questions around Au'Diese Toney if he's going to remain another year. Jackson Robinson, the A&M transfer, who got some minutes, then he lost them, right? Showed that he can come off the bench and knock down a couple threes. Someone would be interested in adding him to their roster. Kamani. So you will probably see at least 2 more spots. I think the expectations are you're going to lose at least 1, maybe 2 more guys. Hopefully that's not Jalen Williams. But if it is, you gotta go out and you definitely, absolutely have to get another big. And listen, I think they're going to anyways. I think that's their goal, to go after another big. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being on the live show. Wednesday show is up in the air. I don't know right now if I have enough of what I need to discuss. We might have a Wednesday show. I mean, the goal is from here on out, Monday and Friday shows at 12 on Monday, and I might move the Friday show to 12 as well. I don't know. I may keep it at 11. I'm not sure. Again, just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell and all that stuff. But the weekday shows, there may be some weeks we don't have a middle show during the middle of the week. Just know that. Understand it. I don't feel like putting out tweets and telling Discord all the time, but if I'm not going to have a show or whatever. But I will do my best to keep you guys up to date if I'm doing a midweek show or not. I probably will. I mean, it's going to be a lot like before when I was doing the regular stuff, right? When I was kind of just live whenever I could go live. It may turn into that a little bit. So just be aware of that. But Mondays and Fridays, we will for sure have a daytime show. But the midweek stuff is going to come down a little bit. I'm guessing, though, we're going to have some stuff to talk about on Wednesday. I'm feeling like we are. I feel like we're going to get more. Sam Pittman will not be talking to the media again, I don't believe, until Thursday. That also complicates things. It makes good for the Friday show, but it doesn't give me a damn thing in the middle of the week. I mean, it's all speculation. So we'll see. you know what? We'll figure it out. But one way or another, the goal is still 3 shows a week, one way or another. That is still the ultimate goal. He only fouled out twice the entire whole season. There you go. Yeah, I don't think he was a foul trouble guy. And only had 4 games where he got four fouls in a game. See, I didn't know it was that low. I thought it was higher. I figured it'd be like 8. Wow. Yeah, great stream. I love talking Arkansas sports and hearing the latest news. Appreciate it. Dirty Balls 32. All right. Yeah, so remember, make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell. Hopefully you get an alert. That's the only downside to YouTube is I am very reliant on their notifications. When notifications aren't sent out to everybody, nothing I can really do about it except post in Discord and across social media like I do. So, again, if I don't see you in the middle of the week, which I think you will, I'll see you guys on Friday for sure. All right. Woo Pig Suey, and I'll see you at some point. Go Hawks.